first game of the day, the NFC Championship. The Eagles are going back for the second time in 5 years, and they beat the Niners 31-7. A game we thought was going to be a low scoring, a rock fight, knockdown, drag out war. Ended up not being that way. Brock Purdy got hurt, and after the fumble that Josh Johnson had going into the right before the half, and the Eagles went up 21-7. That game was over because they weren't able to throw, and it was a fairly non-exciting championship game that we got. But it was a great first drive by the Eagles where they went right down and scored, and Kyle Shanahan did not challenge that fourth down play where Devontae Smith made an incredible effort would be the best way. But actually, he did catch it because what did the ref call? And Eagles go up 7-0. And then on the first possession of the game for the 49ers, Brock Purdy gets strip sacked, gets his elbow destroyed. He sounds like he's going to be out for 6 months. And they bring in Johnson. And the defense bowed up. They played well. They kept him in the game for as long as they could. And then McCaffrey had a bulldozing run where he broke about four tackles, said, "Get off me," go in for make it a 7-7 game. And then the game really flipped on that next drive where San Francisco was going to get off the field 3 different times, and each time they were called for a different penalty. And Eagles go down, score, make it 14-7. Then, as I said earlier, the Johnson fumble, 21-7 at halftime. And then Johnson gets concussed. Brock Purdy has to come in. He could not throw the ball at all, so they had to use the run game, and it's not a good recipe when you're down 2 scores in the fourth quarter. And that was it. Eagles pass rush showed up. They got 5 different guys. It's going to be a problem for the Chiefs. We won't really preview the Super Bowl today. That's a special episode next week's episode. We'll do some early thoughts, I think, but it was just not much of a game, and the Eagles have a chance to win a second Super Bowl.
It's just unfortunate for that game because it would have been a really good one had Purdy actually been able to play. I don't know if the 49ers would have won because the Eagles actually did defensively look pretty damn good, but they're also going against a guy that's been on, 13 teams in 10 years in the NFL? It's obviously he's not very good.
His NFL resume does not fit in your phone screen. He's played for that many teams.
His LinkedIn is pretty crazy if you want to go look at his LinkedIn.
He has a LinkedIn?
He has a LinkedIn. He has the USFL, whatever the hell it is. He has the NFL teams on there, all of it.
It's impressive.
It is. I mean, the fact he has it on there. But, yeah, it just sucks because that should have been, honestly, just as good as a game as the second one.
We thought it was going to be. We thought it was going to be a low-scoring game, but it was.
Well, and, before Brock went out, he was 2-2, I think, for 19 yards. He looked crisp. He found Kittle over the middle, passed to Ayuk on the sideline. And we're thinking, all right, this rookie's here to play. He's not afraid of the crowd noise. He's not afraid of the hostile environment. And then, I texted Ethan this. And when are NFL teams going to stop doing this? When are we going to stop putting tight ends who have to come across the formation to block defensive ends? It's a recipe for disaster.
A Pro
Bowler with 16 sacks on the season. And then also I messaged Ethan after that play. It reminded me of the Vikings-Eagles NFC Championship game. Remember the pick 6 that Keenum threw?
Yep.
It's because they tried to...
Did it end the same score? No, it was 38-7.
38, yeah.
They tried to block Derek Barnett with a tight end, and he couldn't do it. And he got to the quarterback, and it changed the game. So it's like, when are we just going to completely scrap that play from the playbook? Because it doesn't work anymore. These guys are so fast. As soon as no one's coming their way, they're going right for that quarterback. So that's just
and that's the other part too. Is that's the Shanahan offense where it's so reliant on play action. Where you're gonna occasionally have those free guys, and the San Francisco O-line is not good enough and consistent enough to where they can block it where you're getting into a drop back pass game.
Because, that San Francisco line, they're great going forward. But if they just got to sit back in pass pro with no play action, then that's when they can struggle a little bit. And The Eagles got after him yesterday with that.
And it's gonna be the main key. It always does come down to these games. It comes down to O line and D line play. Who can protect the best and who can get after the quarterback the best in these games. It's
what
and the way the Chiefs O line. I didn't think they played great yesterday. They're gonna have to play the best game. They're all five. It's gonna have to be a collective effort to play. They're gonna have to play their best games in 2 weeks on Sunday.
Well, and even go to that game yesterday with the Niners and the Eagles. Even before the Purdy injury and afterwards, when the Niners were keeping it close, there were some points in that game where they were just mauling San Francisco up front. I mean, they'd have two double teams set. They'd have a defensive lineman 4 or 5 yards down the field where they were running right into Drake Greenlaw and Fred Warner. They just, on some of those plays, they didn't stand a chance because those Philadelphia old linemen were just big, physical, nasty. They were coming at you, and they wanted to set the tone because they were probably pissed off hearing all week. They're playing the number one defense. They played the Giants. Excuse me. They've struggled. They haven't played good. They haven't played a real team since the regular season. And the Eagles they were upset and they were pissed and they took it to them. So, you can't blame the Purdy injury on that. That was just an ass kicking by Philadelphia up front on some of those plays, just moving defensive linemen, moving them.
And there's gonna be a lot of questions going into the offseason for San Francisco too, because what do you do at the quarterback position? They haven't had, since Shanahan's been the head coach, there's been one season where they've had a quarterback play all 16 games, and that was when they went to the Super Bowl. But other than that, he hasn't had one starter that started all 16 games throughout, and I don't know if they have one on the roster right now because it sounds like Purdy right now, he's seeking a second opinion, but I mean, he's not going to be ready by training camp. Trey Lance has had 2 surgeries on it, and you don't know what you have with him. Jimmy G, does he want to stick around again for another year?
I think he's gone.
He's gone.
Exactly. No I think I'm right there with you. So there's going to be a lot of questions going into what they do at the quarterback position. Tom Brady's going to be out there. Derek Carr, could he make a return to the Bay Area?
Aaron
Rodgers as well. Well, all 3, I guess you could say, could return to the Bay Area because they're all from there. But, I've also seen, and take this with a grain of salt, but I've seen some people on Vikings Twitter say that they should trade Kirk Cousins for Trey Lance. But
someone said they don't have to give up like a 3rd-round pick.
Yeah, I don't think you'd have to give up much if you want Trey Lance right now.
I don't
think you have to. I mean, there's just nothing there. You don't know.
No.
But you look at this roster; it's ready to win now.
Also, their problem though, they are in salary cap hell.
That too.
They only have a projected $2.8 million.
Salary cap is going to go up $16 million.
I think that was with the projected increase, though, Ethan.
Oh, really? They're already $14 million over?
Or something like when I was watching SportsCenter tonight, they said the Niners are projected to have $2.8 million in cap space.
That was today.
That was tonight. Yeah, at the 5 o'clock time it was on after they announced what the cap was going up to.
Yeah.
And again, they're just projecting. They'll move money and play dirty with it. But another thing they got to worry about is they're going to have to pay Nick Bosa here soon.
Yep. Yeah, because this is what is
4th year. So.
Well, he's going into his 5th year now, or next year's
maybe
his 5th.
So they're going to have to pay his ass. I mean,
giving Debo a big contract was.
I think that's going to be the one they regret.
Yep. Yeah, I would say so.
Because look at how good they played these last couple weeks. When Brock was in, it was Ayuk, Kittle, and McCaffrey. It wasn't Debo.
Stupid.
Yeah, and I don't know what McCaffrey's owed because unless he's just if he's still getting paid from Carolina.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
But let's see here.
Oh, but Dylan, I just remembered this yesterday. For the Chiefs, sorry, Travis, he only had 6 receptions. Leading receiver on the team was MVS with 7. MVS had 7 for 116 and a tutty.
Yeah, well, they threw it around too. They threw it to like 11. I think Mahomes had 10 or 11 different receivers he threw the ball
10
to.
for sure.
Well, yeah, because Hardman, Tony, and Smith-Schuster all had receptions before they got hurt and left the game.
Yeah, and McCaffrey, he's owed $11.8 million next year.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. It'll be an interesting off season for sure in San Francisco. But
They're still the
I got
favorites in the NFC West.
correct.
Mhm.
Yes, because yeah, we don't know what the Rams are going to do. They're facing an uphill battle with their cap hell they're in. Who knows with Arizona, Seattle? They've got some nice pieces. We'll see what they do in the draft and free agency. But yeah, for sure, San Francisco's by far and away the favorite in the NFC West. But so did you guys see that Jill Biden was sitting with Roger Goodell or Dr. Jill Biden? Don't want to. Got to make sure I get that in because we have to make sure everybody knows she's a doctor. But I was posed this question, and I'll let you guys figure out the buddy that asked me this question, because I'm pretty sure after I read this to you guys, you're gonna know exactly who it was. But this is a big question here. So, Dr. Jill Biden was sitting in Roger Goodell's. They were sitting together in a suite at the game, and if Jill and Roger they hooked up and got married, would that make Roger the step president?
Ben Gordon 100% asked this question.
It was
I'm gonna
not
say
Ben.
I'm gonna
Ben
say Cody.
That was you're the winner, Grant. That was Cody. So what is the answer? Does that make Roger Goodell the step president?
I'm gonna say no. But it might be an upgrade because the NFL is actually making a profit, unlike this country.
That's true.
Hey, we did just hit like the lowest point ever. So I mean, our debt ceiling. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I saw this on Twitter. This guy he tweeted out after they showed a picture. Tweets out a real who's who of single digit approval ratings.
Nice.
But yes, so that was my question. That was a question that was posed, and I had to get your guys' thoughts, and I thought that was pretty. It was a good question. It was a good.
Yeah, that's definitely a Cody guy right there.
Something
just
only
Eskimo
he could
Bros.
think of. Joe Biden, Roger Goodell are Eskimo brothers.
Yeah.
Gross. That two old white men. Yeah,
I didn't answer the question.
Ethan's.
I didn't ask if they're Eskimo brothers. You just threw that one out there.
Well, I mean, if they're married, you'd have to assume.
You would.
Absolutely,
absolutely, you would have to.
That's just a hypothetical, though. Man,
there's a lot of greed and power, and with money in this country. So Ethan might be onto something. If you know what I'm saying, baby.
Yeah, well,
they both killed people. Let's be real.
These are facts.
Mm-hmm.